Next mantra, penultimate mantra in Purusha Sukta. Rucham Brahman Janayantaha Deva Agre Tadabruvan Yastvaivam Brahmano Vidyat Tasya Deva Asanvashe. So, its meaning. Now, when the various divine concepts and divine entities, what we call as devas. So when we say something is divine, it means that it is actually shining. It makes its presence known to others. It makes its presence known to others even if others are not noticing it. For example, you don't have to really make an effort to see the sun. The very fact that the sun is there is enough to draw your attention. So the moon, so the stars, so a lamp, isn't it? So therefore, anything self-luminous has an ability to shine by themselves. But that doesn't help us, because unless we internalize that the luminosity of these entities are self-luminous. You see the point? You may be able to recognize the luminosity, but you also have to recognize that they are self-luminous. It is to be internalized, because suppose somebody says that the sun is self-luminous, then if you say the sun is self-luminous, it becomes hearsay. Have you experienced it yourself, internally? And when you have actually internally experienced yourself, then this rucham means rochamanam, that means one who is shining. Brahmam means the self-luminousness of knowledge, which is hidden in the words, because knowledge is hidden in words. What is the nature of words? The nature of words is just mere sounds. So how can there be any knowledge in sound unless you discover the knowledge in sound? If somebody is talking to you in a language which you don't know, then sounds are there, words are there, expressions in the countenance of the person who is saying is also there, but we don't make any sense out of it. Because whatever that person wants to convey and whatever that person is thinking, however powerful those words are not going through to us, because we cannot understand. So this self-luminosity of the sun is also mere words. It is a language which we don't know. It's a language which we don't know, because when I am asked to say, what exactly do you mean by self-luminous? Then how can I explain that? In what way can I articulate that it is self-luminous? The best I can say is, it is not reflecting any other light. That means I am still taking the support of some other group of words which need definition. So we go into this infinite regression, and therefore here the scripture is saying, those who have internalized, that's why the word janayantaha is used. Janayantaha means internalized within themselves. Jani pradurbhave is the Panini root. Jani pradurbhave means that which is given birth to. So what does the word do? What does a sentence do? It gives birth to knowledge, isn't it? In you, as soon as you have heard a sentence and its meaning is understood, it has given birth to your knowing about that. So one in whom the knowledge of the divine is given birth to. Rucham Brahmam Janayantaha. So this shining luminosity of Brahman knowledge, it's called as Brahma Tejas. This Brahma Tejas is shining within themselves. What will they do? What is the difference between a person who is all the time operating only at the transactional level and the person who is operating from the Brahma Sakshatkara, Brahma Tejas within him? This is the luminosity of the knowledge of the Brahman who has internalized. What is the difference between that person and the person who is only processing the information at the transactional level? What is that difference? Now the scripture is saying what they do is they were the first ones who will say Agre Abruvan, they describe their knowledge or an experience of this Brahmajnana. If we are asked to talk about Brahman, if we are asked to talk about Atman, what we do is we take recourse and a shelter in words. Isn't it? So when we are just taking shelter in words, it is not coming from experience. So how do we know this? When the sun is there, shining, nobody need tell me that the sun is shining. Nobody need tell me that the sun is luminous, that the sun is shining. But one who has got this Brahmajnana, for him, he need not even talk. He or she. The very presence of that person is an indication that they know the Brahmajnana. How do we know? Again, because we are operating at transactional level, they are operating at experiential level. So what is the difference between the communication? The communication is they come down and speak in our language and then say, Agre Abruvan. And they say that Devaha Agre Abruvan. That means he is telling to feel is one thing, to express it is another. Now, one who is feeling and also capable of expressing, Yasya Vidyat, he who knows, one who knows, what is the beauty of the Brahmajnana knowledge, where it different from all other sources of knowledge, it is not second-hand knowledge. It is first-hand experience. Because what happens, any second-hand knowledge is subject to correction. Any second-hand knowledge is subject to attrition. Whereas first-hand knowledge is imperishable knowledge. So here what he is saying is, Rucham Brahmam Janayantaha, that is those in whom the knowledge of Brahman they are able to create within themselves. They say that Yasya evam Brahmano Vidyat, he who knows, feeling is superior to expression. Internalization is superior to merely talking about it. And one in whom this Deva is shining, what happens to him is he gets motivated to know what kind of knowledge this is. And therefore you start a process of elimination. This is a unit of knowledge, it has got positive, negative, it is going to give me this profit, it is going to distract me here, so on and so forth. We keep on finding why we do. In fact, in the one of the Shastri Vichara classes, you may remember that I said that there are 4 issues. That is, who is competent adhikari, what is the subject matter vishayaha, what is the relationship sambandha, and what is the outcome of this prayojana. So, adhikari cha vishayaha sambandhascha prayojanam shastraramba phalam prahuhu anubandha chatushtayam. We say that therefore all knowledge is subjected to these four rules. Who is competent, what is the subject matter, what is the relationship. But for a Brahmajnani, he transcends this. For him, he need not put this into classification because he is also already experiencing it. Therefore, he get the desire to know, what we call as Atma Sakshatkara Jijnasa in Sanskrit. This what they want to know. For him, until everything becomes experiential, he will not rest. So he will keep on subjecting himself. Do I know this? Or is this only an information to me? Have I experienced this? Have I experienced this? So when do you know he has experienced this? Then tasya vashe devaha asan. All the gods will be under his beck and command. All the gods means not the deities. All that shines, every unit of knowledge that shines will be subservient to him. Now what is the process of our thinking? We are subservient to a unit of information. Whereas a unit of information will become subservient to you, which means whatever you say will be truth. One of our elderly teachers, Bannanjay Govindjata, says, so it seems in one of his lectures, an old person, absolutely illiterate. He doesn't know to read anything, but a great meditator. So it seems he came to him, this scholar, and this, I have heard you speak so well, and then I have also heard others say that you know everything very well. So, but this is how I feel. So, because I am feeling this, it must be somewhere in the Upanishads or in the Vedas. Can you please tell me where this is found? Look at the confidence of the man. He comes and says, this is what I have felt in my contemplation. It must be in the Upanishads. Please tell me where it is. And then this teacher was totally taken aback because it was exactly what the Upanishad said. And this person has not studied the Upanishad. Ever. So he had that confidence to say, when I say something, that what I say will be in some scripture. And I will not feel anything that is not in the scripture. So that standard is where this sage has now reached. Because he so confidently says, all the devas are under me. And when such a person does namaskara, we have a definition for namaskara, aradhya adhinatva sampadanam namaha ityartha. When you do namaskara, why do you do namaskara? Because you have reverence for that person or for that knowledge, and therefore you prostrate. This person's eminence is such that as soon as he prostrates, the one who is getting prostrated will become his subservient. That stage the sage has reached here. That is the meaning of saying Deva, Tasya Devaha Vashe Asan. Those Devas are under his control, not in the sense of ordinary control. A couple of elucidations from other scriptures. In the Samaveda, there is a mantra which says, Yavatir vai devatan tas sarvaha veda vidhi brahmane vasanti. Veda vidhi, one who knows the Veda, one who has experienced, felt the Veda. In that Brahmana, one who is learned, in him all the divine forces reside. So it is not that the Brahmanas reside in the divine, but the divine resides in the Brahmana. Bhagavata. Daivadhinam jagat sarvam. The entire universe is under the control of the various devatas. Mantradhinam to daivatam. All the devatas are under the control of the mantras. Tanmantram brahmanadhinam. Those mantras are in the control of this learned person. Brahmano mama daivatam. Such a person is my God, says Mahavishnu. So who is Mahavishnu's God? Mahavishnu's God is this who has attained that state. So what is that state? That state is where once you have done all the classifications. See, what is scientific method? The scientific method is we go on classifying things and then giving names for the various classifications. Then we give relationships from one classification to another classification. This is scientific method. Then we locate it. These classifications in this context, this entity functions in this way, in this time and place. So we have done all this classification and we get lost in this forest of classification. Whereas the Brahmana, one who has got yathartha jnana or one who has got the perfect knowledge, for him he takes this desha, kala, vastu, desha, time, kala, desha, place, kala, time, vastu, object, paricheda, analysis is now extrapolated into universality. And one who has internalized this universality or a totality, in that totality all divisions reside, isn't it? So totality is the Brahmana, divisions are all the Devas. And therefore tasya deva asan vashe. So the very beautifully used word asan in this in this mantra. Asan, grammatically what it means, it is a continuous tense. It was there in the past. Well, how it is in the past? As soon as you have internalized this concept, you discover you were liberated in the past itself. It is not that you are getting liberated now. You were already liberated. Only you didn't know you were liberated. So when we say asan, what does it mean? You were already liberated. That means it is past. In view of the processing of this information you are having, now you feel that you are liberated. And therefore it is present. And then now you remain liberated in the future. You were already liberated. Now you know that you are liberated. How can you be not liberated in the future? So is it present tense, past tense or future tense? That means the division of time also dissolves for this Brahmajnani. This has been beautifully codified in the Niti Shataka of Bhartruhari in the Nandi Shloka. Dik Kala Adya Anavachinna Ananta Chinmatra Murtaye Swanubhutyeka Manaya Namashantaya Tejase. Dik Kala Adi. Dik is directions, Kala means time, Adi, etc. Dikkaladya Anavachinna, one who is not segmented. Anavachinna, Chinnamatra, who is of pure consciousness. Murtaya, who is manifested. How did he get manifested? Through words. Chinmatra Murtaye Swanubhutyeka Manaya. Mana means measure. The only measure is your own experience. Swanubhutyeka Manaya Namaha Shantaya Tejase. This brilliance, what is its quality? It is not the burning brilliance of a midday sun. It is not the scalding brilliance of fire. It's a peaceful brilliance. One which makes you peaceful, one which makes others peaceful. Namashantaya tejase. In that state, a person remains. This is exactly what Sri Krishna meant in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse number 22. Yam labdva cha param labham manyate nadhikam manaha. And again in chapter 4, verse number 30. Nahi jnanena sadrasham pavitramiha vartate. These two are actually a commentary on this particular mantra. So again, coming back to the Anubandha Chatushtaya, that is, what is the prayojana of studying Purusha Sukta? The prayojana of studying Purusha Sukta is Atma Sakshatkara. To determine that this Purusha is none other than this Parabrahman and to become one with it. What is the Vishaya? The Vishaya is the Paramatma itself. And what is the Adhikari? Who is the Adhikari? The Adhikari is one whose all Antahkarana. Antahkarana is Manas, emotion, Chitta, memory, Buddhi, intellect, the sense of I. All of these things are pure. Shuddhantahkarana. But at the same time, he also has to be keenly interested in knowing this. We use the word jijnasu. So we can coin the word Shuddha Antahkarana. Jijnasu is the Adhikari. Then what is the Sambandha relationship? The Sambandha is he who is trying to explain and the concept that is being explained are both one. Put in a technical phrase, Pratipadya Pratipadaka Bhava is the Sambandha. Pratipadya means the concept that is being explained. Pratipadaka means the one who is explaining the concept. Always there is this duality. One who is trying to talk about a subject is not the subject. If you are teaching mathematics, you are not mathematics. Isn't it? But here it is not like that. One who is talking about Brahman is Brahman. This is the only subject where the propounder of the subject and the subject are one and the same. Thus you can say that this mantra is the establishing of the Anubandha Chatushtaya for Purusha Sukta. It's a little tough to understand, but then please listen to the recording couple of times, then you will be able to put things together.